Today, we're going to do lesson 2 on learning Java. So just for a review, the editor that I'm using is JGrasp, and last week we learned what are integers and what are variables. And just as a reminder, we can declare an integer using the variable type, which is int, and the variable name, num, and then our value that we want to assign it to, which is 5. And then we can just print the value, which we will get as 5. So today we're going to learn about doubles. And what doubles are essentially decimals. So while integers have the values such as 3, 7, and -2, doubles have the value of such as 4.6, 4.7, 3.14, or -2.0. So, just like an integer, we can declare a double the exact same way using double d is equal to 3.4, and we can just print it the exact same way. And if I run my program, I will get 3.4. So it's essentially, while integers do not have a fractional component, doubles can have one. And just like using integers, we can also do operations on doubles, such as d times 2.0, and this will give me 6.8, or I can even do d divided by 2.0, that'll give me 1.7. So, one thing that we should learn about doubles is what dividing is like. So when we divide using doubles, a double over a double will give us a double, such as in this one, d, which is a double, and 2.0, which is a double, gives us 1.7. Well, what happens if we try to do such as double over int or int over double? Now, behind the scenes, Java is going to convert this integer into a double. So what will happen is we will have a double over a double, because this integer has been converted to a double, and that will just be what we got here, double over double, which is going to give us another double. The same exact thing happens here. When we have an integer over a double, Java will convert this to double over double, because it converts integer to double, and just like here, we get a double. For example, I can have double d is equal to 3.4, and I can have int I is equal to 2. Now if I try to do d over I and I run this program, I will get 1.7, which is a double. So what happens if I want to make it an integer? Because if I do something like int a is equal to d over I, what will happen is Java will throw an error. Incompatible types, possible lossy conversion from double to int. This is because we're trying to assign int a double value. So if I want to make this work, I will have to use casting. Now casting is a bit complicated, and we'll talk more about this in a different lesson, but just to see how it will work, I'll show briefly what we would do. So casting is where we have the variable type here and then our other variable. And what this would do is it would do the division here, which is a double, but then it converts it to an int. Now if I run this and I have to print it, what this gives me is an integer, 1. Now, what exactly happened? When I'm doing d over I, that gives me 1.7. But when I cast it to an int, using int, which is what I want to cast it to, and our value, which is 1.7, a double, that will essentially remove the fractional component, which would give me 1. The same thing if I were to do something like int, even like 1.99999, that will give me 1, because we're just removing this fractional component and just taking the integer value. and if I did something like int 2.0, then that just gives us 2. So now we're going to talk about a new thing today. We're going to talk about booleans. We're going to briefly talk about booleans. So booleans are essentially just true or false. So boolean is true or false. And just like doubles and integers, I can make a boolean by doing boolean b is equal to true, and then boolean c is equal to false. Now if I print it, I will get in my console true and false. Now we'll talk more about what booleans can be used for in the next video, but for now, just know that they are essentially a true or false value. So at the end of each video, I like to review on what we learned for lesson 2. So we learned what are doubles, and doubles are decimal values, such as 3.14, 2.9, or 5.0. And just like integers, we can declare a double using the data type, the variable type, the variable name, and then what we want to assign it to. So just like integers, we can also do different operations, such as adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. However, dividing is a bit special. So when we divide with doubles, when we do double over a double, this will give us a double. And then if we do a double over an integer or an integer over a double, Java will automatically convert the integer to a double for you. And then we will get a double over a double, which, as previously said, will give us a double. Now, this is a bit more complicated, and it's fine if you don't understand this right now, because we will talk about it later. But if we want to cast a double to an integer, which essentially means make the double into an int, such as 3.14 into 3, we would just do int and then the double's value. And the casting will always be this way. We'll have what we want it to be casted to, and then the value. And finally, we briefly discussed what are booleans. And booleans are just true-false values, and we can declare it using boolean, the variable name is equal to true or false. And then make sure to watch the next video to see how we can use booleans. Thanks for watching this video.